Okay, we're getting underway with another nfgHoN ScrimCast. This time CatalysT versus Seraphic Nexus. Blind bands are out, Wild Soul, Parasite, Tempest, and once again Wild Soul. That's not going to be a big deal, pretty standard bands. Looks like we're going for a solo cast tonight. As we start getting underway here. Seraphic Nexus and CatalysT. I don't think we have anything on CatalysT. We do have obviously Seraphic Nexus. We've seen them a lot. We've seen CatalysT a little bit more recently, but by no means we've seen them all over the place. They've started to make a bit of a comeback here, and that could be partly due to the Cybergamer Invite League starting up soon. So obviously some Australian teams competing for money. And money can obviously motivate people to get things sorted. Lock pool though, we're looking at Keeper, Silhouette, Wretched Hag, Master of Arms, Bubbles and that Ophelia, and the bands coming out Jeremiah and Fade so far. Small bands, we got Plague Rider, Draconis, Engineer, so unfortunately we're not going to see my patented Magnus Engineer combo that I do love so much. Very rarely get to see. And so I'm going to look here actually, because you see Mangy filling in for Seraphic Nexus, and that was actually CatalysT that ban that one out. So I thought maybe it was Mangy banning it out because he knows I like it, but it looks like might not have been him. Shout out to you, Miss T. Well, Miss T, if you wanted to jump in and join us, you're more than welcome. Maybe for the next match. We do have big hooks in the channel as well. So shout out to Gimli, who's for some reason who's up there. Obviously, Sealy Booth telling me I'm a little bit cute, so that's very nice. Thanks, buddy. First pick of Luna though. So I'd imagine to go with that Luna, I would really love to see something like a Meraxis or a Magmus, especially in that mid lane. But I guess it depends how the rest of these picks really shape up. All those heroes in that lock pool are definitely very powerful. I have a feeling we're probably more likely to see a Keeper of the Forest and an Ophelia. Depends obviously how the picks go, whether they'll need that Bubbles, need that Wretched Hag in something like a Suicide role. And Master of Arms can obviously jack of all trades, master of none, can actually play some interesting roles. But Zephyr Pharaoh, which is going to be quite interesting. I would imagine that this means that Seraphic Nexus going to opt not for a Suicide, as Pharaoh can obviously fill that role quite well. The Luna Pebbles, I would imagine, going to be in the mid. I'll put my webcam up, Miss T, and you can do the voice. So I'll be the face, you be the voice, and see how that works. Third pick coming out for CatalysT. There's quite a few options on the board here. I would expect them to pick up a carry, but they end up going for Midas, so it looks like they could be going for something like a Keeper of the Forest Silhouette, or even sort of an Ophelia Silhouette, seeing as Midas can obviously fulfill that Suicide role if need be. Definitely don't want to let Seraphic Nexus pick up a Keeper of the Forest and an Ophelia, and they are going to pick up the Keeper of the Forest, so Ophelia Silhouette quite quickly picked up here by Seraphic. And now the third pick is going to come out here. I would imagine potentially you see Master of Arms. I mean, we have seen him a lot more, but that Wretched Hag Bubbles is still very viable. It's going to be that Wretched Hag though. I think working very well with that Keeper, and obviously the Midas if you can sort of nuke all that magic damage and get those big disables out. It could be a lot, but Looks like we're getting underway now.
Let's get it on.
Dodging my original name, mate. Oh, I'm disappointed. Was in my original HoN account. Competitive pause for 1 minute as Malik needs to handle something, maybe a bit of strategy, and add me as a friend, because that's nice. Thanks, buddy. Lane's shaping up while we're sitting paused, and I don't have my competitive insight to bounce off, so could be all sorts of wrong, but it looks like I think we're going to have Pebbles or Luna mid, Midas in, could be in the short lane, Wretched Hag in the long lane. Of course, Midas could go in the long lane as well. I think Wretched Hag's going to have an easier time with that blink being such a low cooldown at higher levels. Keeper of the Forest, obviously maximise his time in the jungle. Midas should have a pretty good time in the short lane. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do much to the Pharaoh that I assume he's going to come up against, but who knows. Now with the Demented Shaman, obviously could do a lot here with that Zephyr, potentially in the mid lane, and Zephyr versus Pebbles. Very interesting matchup. I put my money on Siri on the Zephyr. Not for any real particular reason, just apart from that Demented Shaman up there with him with those heals. I think it's going to be a little bit more valuable than obviously the nuke potential from a Luna. Luna being a great hero, don't get me wrong, and Tomo and Auto Win, great players, but I just think that I've got a soft spot for Demented Shaman, and no matter where he goes, I think it's going to be a pretty good game, especially with that armor into the late game. That's really going to help this silhouette do a lot more damage. If you're enjoying the music, tell me if it's too loud, too soft, whatever, as Midas actually getting caught out a little bit here. He will Elemental Warp over the edge though, so it looks like he's going to be okay. Get a little bit of feedback there as I adjust some stuff. Looks like a bit of a roam coming towards the mid here, but I don't think anything's going to happen. So we see that Zephyr Demented Shaman doing a little bit of creep blocking there. Oxy throwing down the water sight, which is actually a pretty popular spot for, I believe it was Climax. Last time I was talking to one of the Seraphic boys, I believe, or maybe I'm not sure, maybe one of the Climax, maybe one of the Zeniths. They really enjoy that ward spot. It was almost there every single game, and obviously counter warding that as soon as they could. It was pretty spot on. Obviously never a waste of a counter ward, but Pharaoh, Mangy, going to be in that long lane. He's got a lot of regen. He's going to come up against the Wretched Hag. So Wretched Hag is going to be in the short lane and have a very easy time. And this Midas is going to do what he can against that silhouette. Keeper of the Forest actually going to try and take out this Catman champion, but having a little bit of trouble. Mid lane here, Mist Gust from the Zephyr, so Luna's obviously going to be fine. And the lane is pushed up a little bit here, especially with Demented Shaman popping out those heals. I'm not quite sure about that. Maybe it's just to, I mean, they're already pushed in, so who knows, actually. Demented Shaman 0 for 0. Zephyr 6-0. And you look at Pebble 6-1. So Pebble's having a little bit of an easier time, especially with the lane in his in his favour now. But obviously it is still early days, 1.5 minutes in. Zephyr getting a cheeky Cyclone. Ophelia doing some jungling while also ready to do some stacking. So that's pretty cute. It's pretty cool. Pharaoh and Wretched Hag. Oh, sorry, yeah, Pharaoh and Wretched Hag. Wretched Hag sitting on 9-2. Pharaoh sitting on 4-0. But again, lane pushed up in Mange's favour, so he's going to be able to pull these creeps back and just get some uninterrupted farm for a little while Malik picks up this illusion rune. Thanks to Mystic. Mystic. Is that like Mystic? Like magic? They push up early because if you hit that gust, they would have killed a Luna. We'll put her really low, forcing HP pots, more creeps to heal off. Yeah, I am a big fan of the Demented Shaman heal, especially all that physical damage can just come out of nowhere. And if you catch them unawares, it's pretty huge. But so pushing up, obviously, they need a lot of those creeps alive, you're saying. And obviously, if they can get the Luna in or behind those creeps, that heal bomb that would go off next would be pretty huge. And looks like they use it right there. Pebble's in a lot of trouble. One more auto attack from Demented Shaman should be able to finish him off, but Demented Shaman popping a health pot up the hill. Ophelia is nearby though, having rotated into that aggressive jungle only moments earlier, and they will get the Bloodlust kill, so big shout-outs there. Luna in a lot of trouble as well, the Minotaur using that stun, and then the Demented Shaman heal on top of that is just going to be nuts for this game with that Ophelia, those Ophelia minions as well. Well, I can see it on the Luna early game because we just had it right then, so I don't even have to imagine it. It's like right there. But no, exactly, it works really well. I've seen similar things work with sort of a Cthulhu Demented Shaman combo where obviously Cthulhu's knocking the creeps into them and throwing the heal there, but this one you're able to gust them away from their tower, so it's obviously more effective as well. We're going to use up some of that mighty regen that he's been getting, or had to use, forced to use, and so I think my original idea of being in favour of that Zephyr Demented Shaman combo, at least early game, is definitely in their favour, especially those heals, just keeping that Zephyr nice and topped up, coupled with obviously the Cyclones and whatnot. So they could try and make something else happen here, as Zephyr is hasted, but obviously going to have to wait till that next creep wave. It looks like Luna maybe obviously baiting out some power throws, getting shit ready. And a missed gust there, but still trying, still keen. 0-2 now as we go past that 5-minute mark. Meiji calling Wretched Hag a slut, but obviously it's all in good taste, we hope, because there was a love heart. That's how you know. It's really hard to tell, obviously, sarcasm and being fun and playful in text only. But, you know, this level of team, I think, they're definitely just trying to be nice. Stun goes in on that Zephyr, and that just gives Pebbles a little bit of time to do some auto attacks, and I think at this stage he might end up giving that bottle over to Luna to try and help her get one of these runes that will be coming up next. Now looking at this keeper, 190 gold per minute, he is struggling a little bit here. We saw him struggling with the Catman champion early this game, and looks like he is just waiting to animate that forest. Pebbles actually being gusted in there, but unfortunately no follow-up from that Demented Shaman just yet. Zephyr does have a DD rune bottled though, so they could try and make something happen. Midas will go down though, thanks to the power of Seedly Booth on that Silhouette. Farming up a Storm, 319 gold per minute, first top farmer in the game at the moment. Let's see if he goes for that patented 3 Doombringer build. Morgus coming out coupled with the Pharaoh Spray. Obviously anticipating like a full-on jump there. It's not going to happen. The stun's going to come out though onto that Zephyr, and with that Arcane Hide, he will be fine. Not even needing to pop that, as he had the Cyclones as well. It's almost would have been worth it to let himself get that low and then pop Cyclones. Hamster and a ball. It's kind of cool. But Zephyr with a double damage pop now, he should have a pretty easy time getting some more Cyclones. He can use them up, get a heal, but he is going to get a little bit low. The heal coming out, so maybe not the best timing there. If Pebbles could have thrown it in at the same time. Now Luna doesn't have anything to follow it up, and looks like Ophelia is actually here, and they're going to kill that, kill Tomo playing that Luna, and potentially try and make a little bit of a harassment on this tower as well. Ophelia has the minions. Demented Shaman doesn't have any heals, but they don't need it right now. The tower goes down with no muss, no fuss. And Seedly Booth just playing really aggressively against this Midas, who is now level 6. So could potentially do a little bit of something. But Malik actually taking out Mangy in that bottom lane. Unfortunately, Mangy not having the best time as that Pharaoh. Ooh, Midas throwing out the combo, but he actually misses Silhouette, and Silhouette could try and use this as an opportunity now. The trees have already been taken here, though, and the Death Lotus nuke. But then again, Ophelia coming up the bottom, and there's just great map awareness, great team play there. Be My Lover from Ice, just doing that cheeky lane cut and picking off that Midas. So they're farming up now 407 gold per minute as we get to that 9.5 minute mark. I would imagine going for something like a Null Stone, although against this team there's not much Null Stone's going to stop, so obviously it's going to stop the throw, stop the stun from the Luna, but only if he targets you, and that Haunt, but Richard Hag, as I mentioned him, is actually going to get jumped on here, trying to make something happen. He ends up getting that Nature's Protection from the Nature's Veil, sorry, from that Keeper, so he can have a little bit of extra armor, a little bit of extra regen, but he's got to be careful that the nuke doesn't come out from Pharaoh here. Richard Hag will blink away, but it is still chasing. It's not going to be close enough, and Richard Hag, Malik should be fine to get out of there, unless Pharaoh can actually throw a nuke back at the base. He is going to get jumped on though, and he is in a lot of trouble, but he will use the nuke immediately to take out that invisible Keeper. Now it looks like Zephyr's actually rotated into this bottom lane. Pebbles is nearby though, so I mean Zephyr has a lot of health. He's got that Helm of the Black Legion, but without the Mystic Vestments or anything like that, he could be in a bit of trouble. The Gust does miss. He does slow that Zephyr as much as he can. Pebbles, is he going to get in range for the stun? He ends up throwing it. Siri actually sidestepping it as well. They're using a lot on him here to try and get him happening. They will use the throw in the end, and that will work. Richard Hag getting a little bit low, but that Pebbles with double damage obviously going to keep that Pharaoh away. So they use a lot of resources, but they get the kill, and I definitely think it's worth it. And so we're sitting at 3 and 6 now, in favour of Seraphic Nexus on the Hellborn. But CatalysT definitely still in this game, only almost 4,500 gold difference. If they can group up and maybe take a tower, it could be interesting. Might not want to make something happen though. A lot of them are on low health. Pebble's actually going to teleport mid and potentially clear up a creep wave here himself. You got to be careful though. Ophelia is here, and Midas as well could potentially jump in. Oh, sorry, no, Demented Shaman. Getting confused with Demented Shaman and Midas. Midas actually going to get Skeleton Kinged. I think they're going to make something happen. Luna is nearby, having walked up here from bottom. Seraphic Nexus just playing it safe at the moment, letting that Silhouette farming. He's still going for that Null Stone, of course. Great farming item for that Silhouette. Then I would imagine he'd pick up something like a Geometer's Bane after that. Maybe go some more damage. I mean, he could potentially go Shrunken Head, as there is a lot of magic damage, obviously predominantly magic damage, and getting out of that Keeper route might help as well. But a Luna in a really bad way at the moment, getting blocked. The heal bomb coming out from that on top of the Ophelia, coupled with the Pharaoh nuke. It's just too huge. Shout out to Geordie9328. Yeah, apparently. Keep the Forest using his little minions to sort of put some bit of harass on that tower at the same time. While Zephyr clears off the Ancients. And Silhouette actually ends up going down, so a successful gank onto that carry. Sealy Booth getting a reduction in farm there, 330, so he's dropped below that 400 gold mark. But the rest of his team still doing very solidly, and they're going to group up and push this tower. And Mangy with that ultimate ready, that Wrath of the Pharaoh, I would imagine. If we see some sort of defense here, which we definitely might, that Wrath of the Pharaoh could just land him in the middle of the mix here, and he does go in and just misses that Luna. Portal key in from that Pebbles though, throwing out the Stalagmites, not actually getting the chuck out as he didn't have enough mana. He will use an auto attack though, and Midas actually doing a lot of damage with the area of effect. So Wretched Hag and the rest of CatalysT are on the front lines here. Luna Power Throw actually helping out Keeper Root, helping them finish the job onto that Pharaoh. And that is going to be 3-0, although they did lose a tower. And actually the Ophelia minions end up finishing off a Luna, so it is a 3-for-1 in the end. Zephyr actually doing what he can, gusting them up against that tower, and it looks like they will back out of there with a Demented Shaman. The Storm Clouds all over them. Revoid goes down, and there's that Demented Shaman nuke. I love it. Shout out to Wally playing that Demented Shaman. Not a big fan of the skin, but you know, it's all good. Can't really complain, seeing some good Demented Shaman play. And I think it's about this point in the game, you know, sort of that 15-16 minute mark, where this Demented Shaman maybe needs to start gearing himself towards being a carry. Just saying, could be done. Shield Breaker, Demonic Breastplate. Now, will Pharaoh go in on this for Luna? Luna is alone, but it looks like not going to risk it, and we'll just walk away. Shout out to Geordie9328 for following me on the channel, of course. And now, so I can give a shout out to the Dentist. So shout out Dentist. Thanks for following. Thanks for tuning in. Where you from? Do you know these guys? CatalysT and Seraphic Nexus. Looks like jumping onto that Wretched Hag, Minotaur stuns and the heal. She's not going to be able to get out of there. Just the chain stun combo, and that's just why Ophelia is that incredibly powerful hero, and especially coupled with that Demented Shaman. It's not often we get to see that Ophelia, and it's even less often we get to see a Demented Shaman, but I'm glad we're seeing it today. It's just making a great pushing potential and great game potential, obviously, with all those Minotaurs. 7:10 as we hit that 17-minute mark now. Silhouette still trying to farm up that Null Stone. Have a little bit of trouble here. She's got enough money for the Blessed Orb at the very least, but definitely not able to defend that tower on her own right now. Okay, so you're in DNS. Have you guys signed up or been partaking in the Cyber Gamer? Because I assume you're an Oceanic team then. Pebble's jumping in on that Zephyr. Zephyr's team has left him here. Pharaoh is still nearby, but is not going to be able to do anything, so maybe a bit of a miscommunication there. It looks like Pebbles is keen for blood, especially because Keeper of the Forest there throwing out the root. The Mummy Walls do get activated. Red Power Throw as well. If Pebbles can get the throw off, can he get the throw off onto that Fairy? We'll try and cut him off here on the trees. Portal keeps forward just slightly, throw him back onto that Keeper. The heal bomb's coming out though from that Demented Shaman, and that's just going to turn that around completely. So it is a 1-for-1 exchange in the end. I think that chase just taking a little bit too long. But who knows? Taking out that Pharaoh's good, but you know, Mangy's not having a great start at the moment anyway. 266. I think you should have just kept it at least taking that Zephyr. Shout out to Goibnew for hitting follow. Thanks, buddy. Don't listen to this Chimpy 400 guy. Pronounce Goibnew. Okay, cool. Conga attempt happening here, especially with that Pharaoh and all those Minotaur minions. Is going to be very, very easy. Conga getting slain. Sealy Booth with an Null Stone and a Token of Life. I think it's definitely going to be getting a little bit more active now, especially with Aura's just brilliant. I mean, 15 attack speed is not best, but it's nice. Take what you can get. Wretched Hag in a little bit of trouble here. Pharaoh does have that Wrath of the Pharaoh and could try and make something happen. The Gust does go off, but I'm not sure if he'd be able to hold Wretched Hag in place on his own here. They definitely need something like that Ophelia with those Minotaurs. They jump in onto that Silhouette, but it's a little bit too late. She just swaps out with that illusion. It's a bit unfortunate. 8-11 now. At that 20-minute mark, the gold lead is just increasing here. 9,300 gold difference. And you look at where that farm is. That farm is all up on that Silhouette. And the other team, I mean, the teams are pretty even apart from that Silhouette. Luna's having a bit of a hard time, poor Tomo. But they do jump in on that Wretched Hag despite her being Natured Veiled. As I believe Demented Shaman actually has an eye. So she does get taken out by that nuke, the Tormented Soul. And Pebbles trying to teleport out. It's not going to happen though, as I believe Demented Shaman was able to throw out the Entangle, level 2. He's got that little bit of a stun. Stuns him for 0 seconds. So I'm not sure if that actually interrupts, if it's a stun for 0 seconds. Because it still says a stun. Or is that only there because, you know, it's going to stun later. Anyway, Zephyr Ultimate being used. Silhouette running in to try and take out that Keeper of the Forest, doing a couple of water attacks. Zephyr though with an Astrolabe and more Invis, I think he's going to be fine. But Demented Shaman is closing in with that eye, so if they can spot him out here, could be interesting. Especially because he's going to chuck a ward up. Will he be able to get that? Nope. little bit too slow. Sorry, Wally. Siri is part of Seraphic Nexus Core 5, apparently. So it's actually 3. So, you know, they used to call TT Esports an Australian team when there's only 3 Australian players. Or 3 Oceanic players, so. Zephyr actually getting jumped on here. A lot of nukes coming out. The Arcane Hide will get used. He's using as many whirlwinds as he can, but I think that's going to be it. Demented Shaman in a lot of trouble as well. Pharaoh jumping in and picking up the eye all in one fell swoop, and I think that's great, but he could be in a lot of trouble here. Throwing out those mummy walls, and Silhouette has joined the party, so Siri with that token deciding to make a stand here, doing what she can. Pharaoh will go down, and the eye is going to be picked up by Wretched Hag. So luckily for Silhouette, able to teleport out to that illusion, and she did pick up a portal key, I did notice, so and that's pretty cool. Shout out to Mangy and Pat both being number 1. Now I assume Be My Lover is actually Pat, or are we just shouting out to Mangy and throwing Pap in for good measure? Yes. Okay, so we do have some No Way Out boys being that, you know, we got Pap, we got Mangy up in there filling in for that Seraphic Nexus roster just so we can bring it to you, the ScrimCast, the nfgHoN ScrimCast. And I hope you're there, I hope you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, despite being all alone. Despite Miss T not wanting to come on and cast with me, give me some competitive insight, because Lordy knows I need it. But at this time we can go over some of those item pickups. Wretched Hag started building towards a Health Flower, but has also got that Mighty Blade, so could have decided to go for a Shrunken Head instead, as Pebbles, now that he has his portal key, I imagine he's going to go for a Health Flower of his own. Midas got the Mana Ring and the Tablet of Command, could potentially be saving up for a portal key of his own now. Same thing with that Keeper of the Forest, having only little red booties and a Mana Ring and an Astrolabe. Not a lot of Mystic Vestments, as the other team doesn't have a lot of magic damage by any means. And I'm just going to skip over Tomo, because he's doing his best by all means, but I think, you know, obviously you look at that ward coverage is really good, but his items, obviously just being that ward support makes it a bit difficult. Same story on that Demented Shaman, of course. He does have slightly better farm with the Mystics and Steam Boots and a power supply. Ophelia got the going toward that ulti staff, which I think is a great item. Reducing that cooldown massively. Silhouette in a lot of trouble, does have the Arcane Hide, does also have the token, so she can very much man up here. I don't see why they wouldn't, especially with all those heals coming out. They definitely want to get this tower, but they've got to watch out for that Keeper ultimate, of course. Wretched Hag should be able to blink out here with a little bit of a heal coming out from that Lion's Pride. Pebbles doing what he can right in there. Demented Shaman actually getting caught in the trees after the trees respawn. He's still able to throw out a lot of heals and do a lot of damage. Pebbles has fallen, and Keeper of the Forest is going to fall as well. Zephyr just running in there in those front lines. It will take out that Midas. Special thanks to the portal key, and still has that token after all that. 1 minute left on the token, and I believe he should just man up here, and nope, he's just going to get healed. Well, yeah, manning up works and getting healed. It's almost in his interest to use that token up now, because it is only available for another 40 seconds. Bat Blast will finish him off, bring him back with full health, full mana, and that's obviously going to let him stay a little bit longer. Demented Shaman getting a little bit low there, and doesn't really have much mana to work with right now, having no mana regen items, but he's able to stay on the sidelines a little bit and maybe do some auto attacks to that barracks. Pebbles jumps in, trying to do something of what he can onto that Pharaoh or that Zephyr, so focusing fully on that Zephyr there. I'm not sure if it's the right move, as he does have a Shaman's Headdress. I think there's Ophelia, they will be able to take her out, and that's the right move there. I think they need to definitely target that Ophelia and that Demented Shaman and get rid of those heals, because that's just what is keeping this Seraphic Nexus team alive right now. Zephyr will get jumped. He's got pretty much the whole team on his ass here. And he will eventually fall. Shout out to Dubious. We're not going to give you an O, an X, or an I. That's okay. They're doing quite well though, 13-6. They are in the deficit and do have their backs up against the wall here, but I definitely think they have a little bit of room towards that end game though. I think unless they put more focus into this hag, it's definitely going to fall by the way of this silhouette with that portal key. Portal King Gullstone. Pharaoh farming away in that mid lane. Looks like he could be going for a Hellflower himself. Manji is self-professed, has no idea how to play Pharaoh, but he's doing alright. Sitting on 4, 3, and 7. He has missed a couple of Wraths, but we won't hold that against him too much. We'll just pretend to blame it on lag or something. Threaded Shaman with an Energizer, which is going to be a great item, especially with all those Ophelia minions. It's going to make them get up in your grill, so you can get those big heal bombs. Red Power Throw by Luna, potentially scouting out Kong. Ophelia will be spotted here placing another Ward of Sight, so if Demented Shaman or Pharaoh, they don't have another eye, but if Demented Shaman picks up some Rev Wards soon, they might try and counter that. Ophelia with that ulti stuff, with that mana ring, the Astrolabe, just going that full heal route, and you look at the cooldown, 30-second cooldown for a 300 heal is huge. So I definitely think that while it's going to be hard for the Legion team, they somehow need to get the Hellflowers onto that Ophelia, onto that Demented Shaman, just burn them down. It's very hard to just ignore the Zephyr, but the Zephyr is not doing too much. I mean, he hasn't gone specifically damage items, he hasn't gone for a Mock of Brilliance or anything like that. He's just gone that real tanky route, and that's a really good way to play, and especially with this lineup, you've got all your damage, put it on. All your damage is going to be on that Silhouette, who's right-click to Geometers and should have it on its way now. You don't need damage coming out for this from this Zephyr. You just need him to stay alive and just be harassing in those back lines, doing a bit of damage. Just doing that little bit of damage, being annoying, soaking up some of those hits. Armor is going to be used, and it looks like they might try and contest this. It is only 3 of them though. Wretched Hag not going to blink in and try and take it. We'll get gusted a little bit though. Keeper of the Forest might actually throw the root out here. He does throw the root out, but they are still on the run, trying to run out of there. Huge Wrath of the Pharaoh onto that Midas, catching him out there. It looked like a snipe through his own team, but of course doesn't hit his own team. Luna going to try and get out of there. Not going to matter though. Sealy Booth getting a hat trick. And I think this could have cinched it for Seraphic Nexus. They could push into the base now. Silhouette not even bothering to get some creeps. Just going to run up the hill and start auto-attacking. And while it's happening, there's no tower in that middle lane, so Zephyr and the rest of them is going to focus on that. And Sealy Booth, with that token, can just sit here and keep auto-attacking. Especially this Pebble's in a lot of trouble now. He will try and teleport out, but he can. Not going to happen. Sealy Booth on an onslaught now, level 19. 563 gold per minute.
Has been destroyed. A Legion barracks has been destroyed.
So GG World Players are coming out now 13-22 being that final score at the moment. Although it looks like having some fun in the world. No, 13-22 going to be that final score. Seraphic Nexus taking it out. Hopefully we're going to go see another scrim if some more teams are available. Stay tuned. Let's pump some tunes for now. And if you haven't already, hit that follow button. We gladly appreciate it. Give you a shout out, just like Chimpy400 did. And if you're good, maybe mangy, you'll even buy you some spring rolls.